Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. It's wonderful to see such a strong support from our community as we come together to celebrate a significant milestone for North Grenville and the Beth Donovan Hospice. As many of you know, on Wednesday, MPP Steve Clark made the formal announcement of 2 hospice beds, highlighting the province's commitment to investing in compassionate, community-based care. This is a critical step forward for our municipality, and we are grateful to the province's recognition of this important need. We would like to take a moment to share MPP Clark's video message with you, which underscores the significance of this investment and its impact on hospice care in our region. Following the video, we'll hear from Mayor Nancy Peckford, who has been a tireless advocate for expanding care options in our community. We'll also hear from Sue Walker, the dedicated and visionary Executive Director of Beth Donovan Hospice. Sue has been instrumental in championing compassionate end-of-care life in North Grenville, and her leadership has been a driving force behind the hospice's ability to provide essential services. She will share how this milestone will further enhance the hospice's capacity to support families in our community. Thank you again for joining us today as we celebrate this exciting development in this community. And following all the speakers today, we will have a group shot.
Hi everyone, it's MPP Steve Clark with a special announcement. Yesterday we wrapped up the annual Rural Ontario Municipal Association Conference. One of the delegations I had with North Grenville Council involved our application for 2 new residential hospice beds at the Beth Donovan Hospice. Last night, just hours after that presentation, I got a call from the Honourable Sylvia Jones, Ontario's Deputy Premier and Minister of Health. She told me it's happening, and today I'm overjoyed to announce that the Beth Donovan Hospice is receiving 2 residential hospice beds. It's part of our government's commitment in last year's budget to create 84 new hospice beds. This is tremendous news. I want to thank Minister Jones and her Parliamentary Assistant, Anthony Liardi, and of course, thank you to Mayor Peckford and Council, Sue Walker and the team at the hospice, and everyone in the community who has written to me, spoken with me, and advocated for this project. It's been a long journey since Beth Donovan first shared her dream of these beds with me when I worked for my predecessor, Bob Runsky. We never gave up because we knew the community and its families deserved this service. So today, I'm so proud our government has come through for us. We can celebrate knowing that together we've made Beth's dream a reality. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute privilege to be here today on behalf of Council and the municipality as we mark an important milestone for palliative care in North Grenville. I want to recognize I have most of my Council colleagues here, including Councillor Wilson, our Deputy Mayor John Barkley, and Councillor Strachian, and Councillor Doreen O'Sullivan is out of town, so couldn't join us this morning. We also have key members of our staff team, including, of course, Karen, who you've met, Keena Boyce, Julie, and Bruce Umlo. I don't think I'm missing anyone. And of course, so many of you from Beth Donovan. You know, I think tenacity is the word of the day, because this was a tenacious effort, a long journey, as MPP Clark has said. And I remember the first meeting with Barb Tobin and Sue Walker and a number of others. It was a virtual meeting, I think just in the early days of the pandemic, where the appeal was made to me to join forces with Beth Donovan and really champion the cause. Clearly, it was a no-brainer. It's something that's been so important for us to discuss as a community, particularly as a high-growth community. And I remember MPP Clark, I think, was on that call or on a subsequent call very shortly thereafter, and he committed his abiding support to getting this done. So lots of twists and turns, we know that, but you know, without, I think, the dedication, the commitment, the vision of Sue and all of you who've been part of Beth Donovan for a short time or a long time, we certainly wouldn't be here. More recent efforts through the petition and through the partnership with the 73s and the billboards also, I think, likely had their impact. You know, we've been, I think, meeting with the ministry on the idea of these beds, the request for these beds, since January of 2021. So every Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference, council attended, every ROMA conference, which is the Rural Municipalities Conference in January. I would text Steve and say, we're gonna ask for a delegation, and he would say, absolutely, let's do it. You need to continue to make the case. And MPP Clark was able to join us for many of those delegations and really highlight the urgency and the need to come through for this community. So we know this is a game changer. This is a game changer for end-of-life care in North Grenville, and I want to acknowledge all of the hard work that has gone into really making a compelling case for why we need them here. And, you know, we would often say to ministry officials and the minister or the parliamentary assistant, you know, people in our community would have, as we all know, would have to drive a 400 series highway to access care in Brockville or to access care in Ottawa, or they'd be on a rural road late at night trying to be present for a loved one. And that is completely unacceptable, particularly in a community where we have the capacity, we have the people, and we have the resources to really provide the best high quality end-of-life care that we can. So I want to acknowledge that these beds will obviously bring a huge peace of mind during one of you know, life's most difficult journeys. You know, it was a team effort, and I think that's what it's all about. We all came together, we rallied as a team, we had some tough conversations, we ensured that we took every opportunity to make the case time after time after time. It didn't matter if it was the same minister, different minister, same parliamentary assistant, different parliamentary assistant, and our MPP ultimately had the pleasure of announcing the beds on Wednesday, and we're deeply appreciative for his engagement and advocacy as well. But over to Sue, and I believe the board chair, to really speak to how this will change the lives of so many in North Grenville.
Thank you, Mayor Peckford. I'd like to reiterate thanking our MPP, Steve Clark. He has been tirelessly supporting hospice beds for many, many years. I know that it was a very personal thing for him because he made a promise to Beth Donovan that he would make sure these beds came to fruition before she passed away. So I remember him very clearly standing up in the legislature and saying, I made a promise, I'm going to deliver on this because Beth was my friend. And thank you to Mayor Peckford and the council. You guys have been so supportive over the years. Every time we've said, okay, we want to do another pitch, you guys have been there behind us. Thank you for that. And a big thank you to all of my staff who are here today. Please stand up. Come on. You too, darling. Also, a huge thank you to our board of directors who have stood behind us and who I often give a residential bed update at the board meeting and say, here we are. And yes, it's been 10 years, but we're still here. And it was so wonderful to be able to say on Wednesday, we made it. They gave us the beds. I'd also like to make a special thank you to Heather, who is one of our volunteers. Heather spearheaded Unlock the Beds campaign with the 73s, and now we've unlocked the beds, and now we are going to make the beds. The difference that these beds are going to make in this community, I cannot tell you how many times I answer the phone and a family member says, how do I get my mother into your hospice? How do I get my father? How do I get my sister? And we have to say, I'm sorry. The closest one is Rudy Shankman in Canada. How many community members out here who are older, who only drive in Kempville? They don't drive the 400 series highways, as Mayor Peckford said, and who get called in the middle of the night and say, it's time, you need to come, and they can't get there. And it's heartbreaking. We hear they come back and they bring back the medical equipment that they've had for their loved one, and they share with us that they've died in the hospital or that they've died in the hospice and how wonderful it was in Canada, but why can't we have it here? And now we're going to. And I can't begin to tell you how excited everybody is. My phone has not stopped ringing since Wednesday. The community has said, finally it's here, you know, what do we do? How do we help? So we will be launching a capital campaign, obviously, to support these beds and make sure that they come to fruition. We hope that we will be able to do that in the next year. A lot depends on the Ministry of Health and how quickly they move with the funding and release that funding. But we will keep you all apprised of what's going on in the community. You will see us in the newspapers, you will hear us on the radio as updates become available. But a big thank you to everyone and to everyone in this community, because we couldn't have done it without every single person and all of the support that we have received. And now I'm going to invite Lynn Turnbull, our board chair, to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Sue. And as people have said, if it wasn't for your tenacity, our word of the day, we might not be sitting here today. There are so many competing priorities at the hospice. We run so many programs, there's so much going on. And I know Sue has to divide her attention and energy to make everything run and to give the amount of energy to all the programs that are required. And she still found that extra time and energy to focus on making these beds a reality. So now we get to roll up our sleeves and count on our community to join us in making this a reality. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for your support, for your energy, for the staff, for City Council, and let's go get them.